Welcome. I am so happy to see you, and in particular, I am so happy today. I came up with what I think is a really, really great idea, and I am so excited to share it with you. So, this is going to be my very first tag. So I put some thought into it, and I hope that I have touched on all the sort of the logistics so that this can run smoothly. Okay. Have you ever wanted to make your own tarot deck, your own deck at all of cards? This is your chance, and we're going to be doing it together. Yes, we are. So let me explain to you why I'm so excited. This is not only going to be one tag. This is going to be a tag that is perpetual. When the first tag is done, I'm going to make another tag afterwards. I'm going to make another tag afterwards. I'm going to make another tag afterwards. And how long it runs is really going to depend on your participation. And I have the feeling that you are going to want to participate in this very much. I hope, because I'm so excited. Maybe I'll just be excited all by myself, but we'll see. So, if you've ever wanted to make a deck, now I am going to propose a tarot deck, but I'm going to also explain further down how you can make the deck that you want for your purposes, your own personal development, your own personal deck. I'm going to propose tarot, but you can do an animal spirit card deck. You can do a theme deck of any kind. You can do Marseille. You can do Thoth. You can do any version of oracle system that you choose, okay? But there are a few caveats so that you can be eligible to win, and I'm going to have a prize after every tag. So this first tag is going to be called Make My Own Deck 250. Because the goal for me is to get to 250 subscribers. So one of the things that you need to do to be eligible to win the prize is to subscribe. The second thing you will need to do is to make a video response to this tag. And this tag right here, this video is going to be called Make My Own Deck 250. The second one, oh, what else do you need to do to enter? Make a video response. You need to make follow up with the assignment that I'm giving here, and I'll tell you how to do that. And then the winner will have to be able to give me an email address because I'm giving cash. I thought of giving a prize, but then you have to pay to ship it and everything. So my hope is if I give you cash, then perhaps you might make a video response and say, oh, this is the the tarot deck that I bought, or this is what I did with the money that I received. So I have no control over what you do with the money, but that would be my hope, is that you kind of give a response and say, oh, this is what you bought me, or this is what it went towards. So I think cash is good for everyone, and that's the simplest thing. So give me an email address for the winner. You'll be giving it to me sending it to me to my email, which I'll put in the description box below, in the comments, or in the description box below. And it'll be kept private, and I'll confirm that this is your email address, and then I will just e-transfer you the cash, Canadian cash, which may be worth something where you are. Anyway, I'm not going to digress. I'm going to get right on it because we have a lot to cover. So let's just say this is going to be the first assignment for our first 250 subscribers. What you're going to do is you're going to make the 4 aces in your tarot deck. Now, I know that the Marseille has an equivalent. If you are making some different kind of a deck, like the animal spirit type deck, or if you're doing some kind of a theme deck or a oracle deck, and I'm going to show you some of the examples that I have so that you get a better idea. The idea is you'll make 4 cards, 4 of them. And that will be what I hope you enter for the video response. If, for instance, I reach 250 subscribers, which is the goal for this tag, within 10 days, then at the 10th day, what I will do is I will send out a video and I will say, okay, you now have 3 days left to close up, to finish up your work, and to send in your video response on YouTube, showing your work of your 4 cards. If you, as an adult, who may or may not be a parent, who is participating in life, because it has a way of demanding that you get involved in life, you've only completed 2 cards, or 1 card, during the time it takes for me to reach 250 subscribers. It's okay. This is your deck. This is your process. I want you to participate. I want you to make up your own deck, but I'm not going to, I'm not a police officer, and I'm not going to correct any errors. I'm not going to be a judge of the quality. I'm none of that. So if what you have, the assignment is 4 cards, and you have 1 card, then you enter that 1 card. Okay? And there are reasons for that. Not only because it's practical in our life, but also because we have no control over how long it's going to take. I mean, it could take me 10 days to get 250 subscribers, and it could take me 2 years. I mean, ideally, it would take less than that, but we just don't know. And you'll see, I'm going to explain how the tags will follow one after the other. And eventually, at the end of all of these tags, we will have completed all 78 cards, or whatever number of cards are in your deck. Okay? So that is how the assignments will go. While we're doing the assignment, let's just hypothetically say it takes 2 weeks to reach 250 subscribers. During those 2 weeks, I'm going to give, I'm going to first of all talk about the assignment we have. So I'm going to first start by making a video about the 4 aces and what they mean in tarot. I won't be talking about any other kind of decks like Marseille and Thoth and what have you, because tarot is my jam. On your video response, if you are not doing a tarot assignment for your deck of choice, then what you will do, and in fact, even if you are doing tarot, what you will do is explain the cards. So you'll say, this is the Ace of Swords, or if you want to call it the Ace of Air, or if you want to call it something else in your deck, it is totally personal to you. You can call it the Ace of Feathers or something, whatever. This is your system. This is your process. And you have complete creative license over this. Okay? So let's just say this is your Ace of Swords. And you're going to say, okay, this is the sword that I chose, or this is the feather that I chose. I glued something that I found in my yard, and this is why it means something to me, and this is how it relates to this system, the tarot system, or this is how it relates to the Marseille system. So if I were to pull this card in my deck, it would mean XYZ. It doesn't have to be a 40-page dissertation. It just has to show participation. So be as succinct as you can. And the reason why I'm saying that it doesn't matter if you finish the entire assignment is because I'm going to make another tag afterwards. After I've reached 250, I'm going to go for 500 subscribers. And then you will have the time it takes for me to get to 500 subscribers to do the next assignment. You can complete the rest of your cards if you want to. I'm not going to be correcting them. But the next assignment, let's say it'll be the 2s. It might be something else. I might jump all around. Suffice it to say, after the tags are done, 250, 500, 750, 1,000, 1,000 and another 250. So you see, every 250 subscribers, I'm going to make a new tag with a new assignment. There may be 4 cards per assignment. There may be 10 cards per assignment. It may be something different. So the thing is that we're going to have fun. And at the end of a certain number of assignments, we are going to have completed a deck. Now you say, okay, what if assignment number 5 ends up assigning all 16 court cards all at once and you don't have time to do them all? Well, you submit whatever you can for that time frame. Okay? Because once all 78 cards are done, we're going to start all over again. We will. We're going to start all over again. This is the song that never ends. Yes, we're going to start all over again. And that's when you can go back and finish the other aces that you've not completed the first time. So on and so forth. Why is this important to me? Because I want your participation. Because I would like to be able to chat with you on my channel. If this goes well, I think once per week, we might even get together and do a live chat and talk about our process as we go. Now, let me tell you, I've seen some of your Book of Shadows. I've seen some of your art. I'm not in competition with anybody. And I mean, you would probably want me on your team for Pictionary, but you do not want me doing the murals in your home. So what I'm going to do is something very simple for my deck. I'm going to be focusing more on teaching tarot and doing those videos and managing, being the cheerleader for your process. For my tarot deck, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of the power pictures that I want, most likely out of magazines, most likely off the internet. I'm going to print them up somehow and paste them onto paper. If you do that, and only that, for your assignment, I'm quite happy with it. You are submitting something. And on what paper? I'm looking at recipe cards. You can make this into your tarot deck. This is one card. Glue some pictures on it. Write down Ace of Swords. If you want to write something on the bottom, that's fine. Something on the back. If you want to make a backing, you have your own artistic license. And this is your submission. So then you show this, you explain it, and then we're done. Okay? Now, if you are really artistic and you want to make a really large sort of a prototype for your deck, let's just say at the end of this assignment, you decide that you've done such a good job that you want to publish your work. You might need to have a larger, really well-made deck or, painting, picture. You can do that. You're submitting an image. You're submitting an explanation. Carte blanche. You do what you like. Okay? We're doing this together, and that's the main thing. My assignment is going to go in here. This is going to be my tarot deck, and what it is just a book from the bookstore, and on every page, I am going to glue the images that I want. I might even put an explanation beside it. Now, the reason why I'm doing that is because if I jump around from the aces to the tens to whatever parts that I want to do as I'm teaching, as I see fit, while I'm teaching, I want to make sure that I go through all of the cards once, the 78 cards once, before I go back to the beginning and start the deck all over again, so that we can continue and finish up or polish up or redo some of the cards that you weren't satisfied with in the beginning. You might decide that you've changed, your mind about some things and you might want to improve or whatever. So we're going to go through the whole deck again a second time and maybe a third time. I don't know. This might take a life of its own, and I really hope it does. But for me, I'm going to keep it in a book so that I can keep it in order. And I will show you the work that I've done, which will be, lower your expectations. I want it to be simple. And that way I can see which ones I've already done and which ones have not been done. So I'm not losing anything. It's all together in my one book. Okay? Now, the other thing that you might want to do is you want to talk about the materials. So I'm going to get a pink card because it might show up a little bit better. I'm not sure. So this is just a plain recipe card. So you glue on your pictures, or you draw your little caricatures, or you do whatever it is you want. Now you're saying, okay, if I glue a feather from my backyard, that's not going to make a very practical deck, right? Yes and no, because this is kind of like a prototype. Now, if you want to make this deck and just color your images and use these actual recipe cards or whatever as the deck that you shuffle and you read from, that's fine. But you may want to, at the end of it all, have some embossed pictures or some stickers or something that does not shuffle very well. In fact, I anticipate that the cards that we make will not shuffle very well. But if you then print the image of that onto some other cardstock, you take an image of it, you print it onto some cardstock. I don't know what kind of lamination goes with making good decks. So, you know, you might want to leave those sort of things in the comments below or discuss it on our live chats, because we're going to go through some exploration as we make our own decks. Okay? Yeah, is that clear? I'll give you an idea of what I mean. Where was that? I have, look at all this. Woo! Okay, yeah, see, I have all sorts of decks here to talk about. Okay, so where is my, these ones. So I've talked before about my daycare. So this has nothing to do with tarot cards, but it does give you an idea of what I'm talking about. So you see here how you have images of things that are actual like toys and they have shadows. So, I mean, if you on your recipe card decide that you want to like glue popcorn or something, and it doesn't make for a very good deck to shuffle, of course. The thing is that you can take a picture and then, or create some shadows. Or you see here, this is like a phone with some little dolls underneath. So those are the images that you can use for your tarot decks. There's a toy doll with like a dog with blocks around. There's an underwater scene, fish and some pearls. So I use these pictures in my daycare for, you know, for learning purposes. But you get the idea. So you can use like a picture of something that you've set up, like your altar, for instance, if that's what you want to do for the magician or whatever. This is something that is your project. It's your deck, and it would be fun if you could explain the meanings behind the images and the symbols that you are using for your system of choice. In fact, it's a requirement that you explain something. You don't have to explain everything. Just explain something so that we can learn from each other. Now, what else did I want to say? What materials you can use. Size does not matter. Do you hear that a lot? Size does not matter. So here's an example of, just so that you know, the cards that I was pulling up a little bit earlier, that is the Herbal Tarot. Okay, the Herbal Tarot. And it comes with a book that's, well, actually it doesn't come with the book. I had to order it separately. The Spirit of Herbs. I really love that deck. It's, one day when I use it and I have time on a video, I'll tell you the little story about it. I ended up accidentally buying 2 and then gave the other one away for a lady who helped me make my the native drums. So there it is. That's the story. Okay. So does size matter? No. Here is the Inner Child. The Inner Child Fairy Tale Tarot. So there we go. Inner Child cards. A Fairy Tale Tarot. And so size does not matter. So if you want to make cards that are this big, that's okay. You see? So I'm not going to do a flip through. I'm just telling you size is okay. What else do I want to tell you? If you want to do a theme to your deck. So let's just say that everything in your deck is Marseille, but you want to do it with gnomes. If it works for you, that's great. If you want to make, like for instance here, we have tarot. And this is the Medicine Woman Tarot deck. So the theme here is Native American, Indigenous. Oops. Oh, yeah. How about we show it when we're showing it? Okay. So these are just glorious, glorious pictures. I love this deck. There's a story about this deck too and how I was able to acquire it. By the way, I'm still looking for the book to go with it. Don't even ask. Okay. Now, what else did I want to say? So you can use any materials you see fit, any size you see fit. If you want to cross-stitch them, not that you would, but you can even use the image of cross-stitching, because I used to do cross-stitching once upon a time, and oh my goodness, I miss that. It makes beautiful, beautiful art. And then you would take a picture of the cross-stitching, sort of the Ada cloth, and then that image would end up being something that you would put on a card for, you know, shuffling it and reading the deck. You can color things with pencils. You can glue printed images, like I mentioned, and you have, you know, paint them whatever you like. I am giving artistic license, but I am not going to accept if you just take pictures of another deck. I don't think anybody would do it. But if you just take pictures of another deck and submit that, I don't think I'm not going to accept that as a eligible sort of entry. This is a make your own deck system. However, if, for instance, you want to make your own deck and you physically draw or paint your own images that look like a very close facsimile of an existing deck, I accept that. That is perfect. That is awesome. I am envious of your skill. So that would be eligible. So I mentioned that the timing depends on the viewer participation. So we are going to move along, and the rate limiting step is the number of subscriptions. So as soon as we reach that goal for 250, we're moving on. We're giving an extra 3 days to finish up your entries. We're going to make the draw and then move on to make your own tarot deck 500 tag. And then I'm going to go on to a different assignment for that. And the assignment will be for you to do the same thing with the next number of tarot cards or whatever cards in your deck. Okay, so to be eligible, you will need to subscribe to my channel. You will need to present what you have completed for that tag. So, for instance, for the 250 tag, you'll need to present what you've made for the aces of all 4 suits. That's a total of 4 cards. In a video response on YouTube with the hashtag that I will indicate down below. I think it's going to be make my own deck 250. So the hashtag will be down below. And the winner must be able to give me a valid email address so that I can transfer the funds. And you will have to give some kind of an explanation for all the cards that you've made in that assignment. I can pretty much guarantee that I will not be just doing 4 cards every time I do a tag, because right now we're doing 4 cards and I anticipate that it's going to take some time to actually get to 250 subscribers. However, for instance, in the next tag, I may be doing all of the 7, 8s, and 9s or whatever. So or I may be doing all of one suit, like all of the, the cups or something. I will not make it so that we're overwhelmed, because I would like, but I don't want to draw it out over like years to make one deck. So this is going to take a life of its own, and I will tailor the amount of work assigned to do. It will depend on your responses, on your feedback, on your participation. If there's absolutely 0 participation, the whole thing dies. If there's some participation, we will trickle on slowly, and we will make a deck by the end of this fall, and it will be wonderful and glorious. And who knows, if you end up making a deck that is so exciting, you may end up publishing it, and then we can end up buying each other's decks instead of buying other people's decks. Wouldn't that be so much fun? And in the process, we end up learning about tarot. I spread my wings and I can teach about tarot. You learn about tarot by watching my videos. You learn about tarot by watching everybody else's video responses. You learn about tarot because you're making your own cards, and you will be researching every piece of symbolism. And I have a book actually about the well, I have several books with symbolism, but one that's particular that I really want to share with you. And you may want to look at a whole number of things. So we're looking at cards that are normally, I don't use tarot for divination, but we're looking at cards that are normally used for some sort of divinatory purposes or some sort of for a reading. So if you have cards, like I have some cards that show the constellations, I don't use those to give readings to clients. If you were to do a deck with the theme of constellations, you would have to make it in a way so that it would be useful for you to read to clients to be eligible for these tarot tags. So what is the prize? Well, I wanted it to be commensurate with the number 250, but giving $250 would be absolutely bonkers for me. Can't do it. So I'm doing $25 on this tag. When I have 250 subscribers, the prize will be 25 Canadian dollars, which is whatever it is in your country, in your what do you call it? Currency. And yeah, this is going to be, I think this is going to be so much fun. This is good. I'm so excited. I really want to see how, how we fare with this. Anyways, onward and upward. And let's just explore what we can do. I'm so looking forward to seeing your art, your work, your contributions. And today is the 14th of October, 2018. So we'll see. I'll give you feedback with my videos as we go along, and keep your eye on the number of subscribers on my channel so that you know how much time you have to complete the 4 aces, one of each of the 4 suits. Take care and have a great weekend.